want to say thank you to the Chinese Australian media that's here today as well, and thank you so much for your coverage to the Australian Chinese community who are making up their minds on Saturday in terms of the New South Wales state election. Before I have the honour of introducing the Premier, Dominic Perrottet, just like to introduce a few special guests that are here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got here the Honourable Philip Ruddy, Mayor of Hornsby, former President of the New South Wales Liberal Party, former Attorney General of Australia. We've also got, ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Chow, AO, the founding President of the Liberal Party Chinese Council.
The investments that we've made, particularly around those multicultural events like Lunar New Year, and I've been very proud to light the Opera House in red for Lunar New Year, something, a tradition that we brought in as a government over a decade ago. But what has really impressed me as a Premier of New South Wales has been how we've been able to continue to celebrate these events and seeing them grow and flourish over time, and see so many members, not just of the Chinese Australian community, embrace them and participate in them, but people from all backgrounds in our great state. And that is something that I think makes us truly blessed as a community here in New South Wales. People coming together, not just in tolerance, but in celebration of that great cultural diversity that we have. And from my perspective, and Scott's raised as former treasurer, the trade connections between New South Wales and China are immensely strong. And that trade connection, that economic ties that we have as a country, and particularly here in New South Wales as a state with China, puts us in a very good position to continue to grow and flourish that great relationship. Recently we set up new trade commissioner offices in China. And what is that all about? That's about continuing to enhance that incredibly strong relationship that we both have on a trade level. But trade is one thing. What's more important than that is the deep cultural ties that I believe that we share as a community. And ultimately, for me, as someone who's been in Parliament for 12 years and represented electorates, and I currently represent Epping, which has a very strong Australian-Chinese community, is that great sense of family, those shared values that we bring together. And as Scott has touched on, they are family, they are areas of policy that my government has continued to focus on. And Scott raised our kids accounts, and that is something I'm truly passionate about. What I love about the Chinese Australian community is that sense of family, that sense of aspiration, and ultimately making sure that we appreciate that the greatest investment that we can make as a people is in our children, and giving them a better opportunity than we have. So the establishment of these kids accounts, this New South Wales Future Fund, will ensure that all our children can leave school with up to $49,000. $49,000 they can invest in their education or buy a home. And we know from the Australian Chinese community, and I know this all too well, is the importance of aspiration, the importance of education, the value that we put on it. And that is something that my government takes very seriously and wants to continue to promote going forward. I said when I became Premier, I wanted to be a Premier for families, because ultimately we need to deal with the challenges that we have today, with interest rates rising, with inflation rising, but we have an economic plan to deal with those challenges, to give $250 back on every energy bill for every family and household across New South Wales, to lower the price of getting public transport in our great state. But ultimately as well, we all have an obligation, and I believe our Chinese Australian community understands this very well, that we're here for one reason, and that is to make sure that our children have greater opportunity and greater prosperity than we have. And that is something that we share. That is our vision in part of our multicultural society that brings us together. And I'm very honoured to be Premier of New South Wales, where we've invested a lot in ensuring that our great multicultural and diverse community comes together. It's not something that, as I said, we tolerate, it's something that we celebrate, and that I have had the great witness of seeing it flourish over the time that I've been here in this job. But importantly, this election is crucial for the future of our state. We need our state to not go backwards under Labor, which will cancel those programs, cancel those kids' accounts, and cancel those stamp duty changes, which will ensure that our young people get their keys to their very first home faster. Our focus on pre-K education, giving every single child in New South Wales access to 5 days free preschool. That helps with families with the cost of living, but ultimately gives our children the best educational outcomes and start in life. And that is only possible under the Liberals and Nationals in New South Wales. And we have the plan to deal with these current challenges, but ultimately, as you know, and as I know, to set up our children for greater opportunity into the future. So it's a real pleasure and honour to be with you here tonight. Thank you for coming. And as I said at the start, it's a very important election for the people of New South Wales. We need to navigate these challenges, and only a Liberal government here in New South Wales will be able to do that and ensure that we deal with it.
And I speak at citizenship ceremonies. And I say to people, when you become Australian, you are just as much Australian as anybody else. And I invite them to think about ensuring that they register to vote. Because if you are registered, and you should be registered, it's compulsory, you then have a say. But you don't only just have a say, you can choose who will represent you. But you can also choose to be part of that team. And Scott has been a candidate for our party before. Some of us are sorry he's not won this time. But I am saying to people that regardless of where you're from, you are able to contribute. I was delighted when, I won't say 40 years ago, I was able to encourage Helen Shamho to stand for Parliament and to help secure her election. And she was living in East.
The advancement of our business and making sacrifices for our children, focusing on their education and investment in their education. I think that we all agree that we don't need to debate this.
The more diverse our parliaments are, and the more diverse our cabinet is, the better decision making comes from that. And I think the Liberal Party has done a lot of very good work. Obviously, we're disappointed that Scott didn't get up last time, but obviously we're running a great joint in Cogra this time. But the more that our parliaments have people from multicultural backgrounds, from different faiths, that is something that I believe really enhances our parliament. That increases the diversity of different perspectives. And that ends up in better decision making. And I can say during close to 10 years that I've served in cabinet, that I've seen firsthand the benefit that comes from having different perspectives around the table, listening to different views. And then it also encourages other people, once you have those in parliament, for others to then say, you know what, that's something I might do, put their hands up to run themselves. So absolutely, and I think that will only grow over time, because New South Wales connection with the Australian Chinese community is incredibly strong and will only grow. And one thing I've certainly focused on as Treasurer in terms of trade and immigration was, and obviously Philip had a key role as former federal immigration minister in this country, was to bring people together. We live in a great country that has three important strands: our First Nations people, our colonial heritage, and our multicultural community. Those who come from overseas call Australia home. And I've certainly found with the Australian Chinese community here in New South Wales that sometimes those who have come from overseas and come to New South Wales, they very much appreciate a lot more our country and our values and the freedom that we have here and the opportunity that we have here than more than those who are here simply like me because of an accident at birth. So definitely that's something that we're focused on. We want to continue to drive because I believe that makes our parliaments more reflective of our community and ultimately brings us all together.
Thank you for answering that.
Program gives people who use motorways regularly in New South Wales 40% off, up to $750 in rebates for toll roads. But there are a range of measures that we have in place. And in New South Wales, we have more cost of living relief for families in New South Wales than anywhere else in this country. That's $7 billion in programs. And in this election, we're committing to $250 off every single family, every single household's energy bill through Service New South Wales. In addition to that, we're reducing the public transport toll cap from $50 to $40. That will save people up to $480 this year alone. And that builds on a lot of the work that we've done. Our back to school vouchers. I know that many mums and dads across New South Wales are taking up our back to school vouchers, giving people $250 to help with the cost of school shoes and school uniforms. Our Active Kids vouchers are getting young kids into sport for the very first time and helping people with managing the household budget. In addition to that, our Creative Kids, getting kids into extracurricular activities like music lessons. And one of the changes we made recently was you can actually combine the Active Kids with the Creative Kids vouchers. So there's a whole raft of measures that we have that we want to continue to invest in. Because ultimately, I see as the former treasurer of this state, that the New South Wales budget isn't an end to itself. Our budget is here to help your family budgets. And as I made that point earlier, the best investment we can make is in our children. As someone who's got 7 children myself, that's something I understand and appreciate. And I want to make sure that every single child in New South Wales is given the best opportunity in life. And that's why I'm so passionate about these kids' accounts that we're setting up. Because by setting up accounts for our children, the New South Wales government making a dollar-for-dollar contribution, that will ensure when our kids grow up, they have the best opportunities available to them to get the best education possible and get into the housing market. And I believe that will make a real difference in the future. So we've got the measures today to deal with the challenges that households face in the short term, but ultimately the sign of a good government is the government's also focused on the future. That's exactly what we want.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
We have one more.
Importantly, I guess, is the energy bill as winter is coming along. The main reason or the main concern that everyone having right now is definitely one of that. What do you see an improvement when it comes to this?
Thanks, Steve. Well, the first thing we've done, every household and family's energy bill across New South Wales. Now, under the latest policy, 1.5 million households and families across New South Wales miss out. We believe that every family is doing it tough at this time, and every single family should have access to that rebate. So that's incredibly important. Ultimately as well, though, we've got to look to the future. So our long-term energy roadmap drives $32 billion of private sector investment, which sets up our long-term energy needs and provides affordable and reliable energy now and in the future. The Narrabri gas project, that pipeline, is incredibly important as well, and that's why I called it its critical infrastructure. That pipeline itself will supply 50% of gas needs to households and businesses across New South Wales. But ultimately, we are the party today that is giving that short-term relief, that's making sure we put downward pressure on energy bills for families and households. And we'll continue to work with the federal government on that. We put caps in place as we move to this period. Our roadmap ensures that the energy prices today are $360 lower than they otherwise would be without that approach, and that kicks in July this year. We're giving every single family across New South Wales $200 off their energy bill. I believe will make a real difference. That is not possible under Labor. That's only the Liberals and their long-term economic plan that will make sure we put down pressure on household bills today, but ultimately set up the energy security for the future.
New South Wales 这个激进，这个 economy， 我觉得我们真的需要一个人会做这个激进，这个激进对我们来说是很重要的，真的很重要的。这个 Labor 的人，他没有做 做过 treasurer， 他们没有做过 premier， 所以我就是这个 point 想问你们，just ask all of you to share the positive achievements and the positive plans of Dominic Perrottet. Let's get him re-elected, and thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you.